Hello, is it Miss Sangeeta Rathod? My name is Prashant Upadhyay, ma'am. I'm calling from Gurgaon. And I got your number from Shri N. Hariharan's office, who's apparently the CGM for the communications. Okay, so Ms. Rathod, okay. So, first of all, thanks for talking to me and picking this call. And I assume you're the GM at SEBI, ma'am? Okay, so request you to please listen to me a little bit patiently to give the background for which I'm calling. I'm an investor at a company called Growpital, and to give you a little bit of a background on why I'm calling. So SEBI is currently investigating Growpital and has charged Growpital to garner funds as an illegal CIS via its interim order on the 29 Jan 2024, following which the bank accounts of Growpital were frozen. And then Growpital challenged the order in the Rajasthan High Court, which then asked Growpital to go to SAT to draft a business plan for the return of capital to investors. The business plan was drafted by Growpital, on which SEBI marked many objections in its confirmatory order on the 26th of April 2024. It did, however, unfreeze the personal bank accounts of the designated partners of Growpital on 26th April 2024. However, due to all this, the business continuity of Growpital has been broken, perhaps beyond repairs, and the monies, the monies of the current investors is stuck, ma'am, and the investors are very worried and anxious. Yeah.
When you make this point that business continuity is affected and the monies of people are stuck, so that's the byproduct of the process. That's not the main aim of SEBI. I hope you understand.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Understand, right?
Absolutely, ma'am. Yeah, I understand. And the problem is that because of this situation, because of the investors' money is stuck, the investors are very worried and anxious, and some are even sad and depressed. So, my question to you is, ma'am, is SEBI sensitive to the position of the current investors of Growpital whose monies are stuck? Or is it just another investigation for SEBI where law will take its own course? And once the matter is settled, people are saying SEBI officers will probably get promoted and so on. Come again, ma'am? Yeah.
Are you accusing SEBI of anything?
No, ma'am, not at all. That is not my intention. I'm saying that the investors.
How are you juxtaposing investigation of SEBI with feeling of SEBI? What's the connection here?
So, ma'am, what I'm simply merely asking.
Elaborate. I want to understand. You ask me a question. Is SEBI mindful of the investors? What's the word you use? Or SEBI is just doing an investigation? What do you mean by that?
Ma'am, all that I'm asking is SEBI sensitive to the position of the current investors?
You are accusing SEBI while they are investigating the company. They are insensitive to the investor. If you are accusing SEBI of something, there are higher powers you could go to and you could complain against SEBI. There are higher powers because India is still a democracy, right? Still a democracy. So there are the higher powers you can go and speak to. But if you are not accusing SEBI, then I'm not sure what I'm asking. What exactly is the question?
Okay, ma'am, I'm not accusing SEBI of anything at all. I'm a layman investor. All that I'm asking is that is SEBI sensitive to the position of the current investors of Growpital?
What do you mean sensitive? What do you mean by that?
Okay, let me explain, ma'am. So by sensitivity, I mean that due to this investigation, the money of the... Ma'am, please hear me out.
Not investigative.
Yeah, so I was trying to explain. Ma'am, can I explain myself?
One second, you as an investor, you are having trouble because SEBI investigated. So your point is SEBI should not have investigated.
No, ma'am. No, not at all. Not at all. I'm fully for SEBI investigating the Growpital. Growpital deserves to be investigated. I'm not against that. However,
you are part of Growpital. as an investor, you are part of Growpital.
Yes. And ma'am, I'm fully support the investigation. I fully support SEBI's investigation.
You want for your happiness, we should stop investigating Growpital. Or what exactly are you asking?
Yeah, ma'am. All that I'm asking is that because of the investigation,
are being harassed, SEBI should not investigate Growpital. That's what you're saying?
No, ma'am. I'm not saying that. All that I'm asking is that what is SEBI's take on the current investors whose monies are stuck because of this investigation?
The investigation is also for investor protection. Everything to be done is for investor protection. Irrespective of the preamble of SEBI.
Absolutely, ma'am.
You want to like it, that's a different thing. It does not suit you, that's a different thing.
Okay.
As an investor, it does not suit you. You are not liking it. So you think SEBI is doing something which is against investors, but no, sir. Everything SEBI does is for investor protection. And if investigation has happened against Growpital, which is something disturbing to you, then I can only wish that, or I can only hope that you will understand that whatever SEBI does is for investor protection. I can only hope, because you seem to be, living in a binary where you are saying you either investigate or be sensitive to us. That's what you're saying. But it doesn't work that way. What SEBI does is for the express and very purpose of investigation. So if you're not liking what SEBI does, I can just wish you the very best and all I can do.
I completely understand, ma'am. Can I ask you one more question? SEBI says, as you just explained, that it wants to protect the future investors and perhaps the current investors as well, even if they don't like it.
Perhaps means what? What perhaps is?
I mean, as you just alluded to, that maybe the current investors are not liking it, and in that case,
not liking it. See, when you were investing with this of excellent return, this, that, etc. I mean, you do like that story, right? That's why you invested.
Right, ma'am. So even if we agree to SEBI's, investigations and
you don't like SEBI's investigating Growpital right now, I'm not sure of who on earth can help you with your feelings. I really can't. I really don't know really that who can help you with that. However, what SEBI does and what SEBI has been created for is definitely investor protection. And in the process, if you don't like it, I'm not sure what were you thinking. You think that after investigation, SEBI should not have past strictures against Growpital? That's what you're thinking? What exactly is the point here?
Okay, ma'am, wouldn't it have been prudent to stop fresh investments in Growpital while letting the business continue with a warning to unwind the business contingent on litigation with Growpital? But on the other hand, you chose to freeze the bank accounts of Growpital, and this ensured that you protected the future investors.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That what SEBI is doing, if you have a view which does not concur with SEBI's view, there are higher powers you can appeal to.
Yes, ma'am.
You could do that, you could write to the FM. There are many remedies for it.
Okay, ma'am. I think that's comforting, ma'am. By the way, does SEBI have a role in returning back of the capital to the existing investors from the frozen bank accounts?
You seem to be very knowledgeable about the good thing. What are you expecting me to help you with?
Ma'am, I'm merely asking because...
That is the point.
My point is, ma'am, that investors' money is stuck and there's a time value of money.
You told me about a few times. I also told you about a few times that yes, that's a byproduct of the matter. But that's not the main this, right? I mean, that's not SEBI's aim. SEBI's aim is only the protection, is the process Some investors like you are the only phone call I have received in this matter, and some investors like you are not liking it. And you appreciate that, okay. I agree.
And you're entirely right, ma'am.
Not acting in the interest of investors, then you should challenge SEBI on that.
Okay, ma'am.
That you should very much do. Yeah.
But ma'am, I repeat my question. Does SEBI have a role in returning back of capital to the existing investors from the frozen bank accounts? Come again, ma'am?
Why don't you read the Growpital order?
But ma'am, that doesn't seem to be indicating anything of the returning back of the capital, does it?
Then it's not part of this. Then you wait for the final order.
But ma'am, our money is stuck.
I you told me a few times, sir. You did tell me, right? That's how this is, right? In the sense that if SEBI is passing strictures against someone, naturally the whole thing will freeze.
But ma'am, SEBI is a father figure, is a fiduciary. Isn't SEBI in a fiduciary position and has responsibility towards the investors as well?
The point I'm making that if you genuinely have a view against SEBI's view, there are forums you could go to.
But ma'am, how will the small investors like me?
Over a phone call that's going to resolve the matter.
No, ma'am.
SEBI functions, you are not okay with that idea.
But ma'am, how will a small investor like me, who neither has the time or the resources, challenge anything against SEBI?
You are calling me, right?
Yes, ma'am. But I don't have the resources, nor the time or the energy to challenge anything.
No, you could go to SAT without any money and without any, just a plain piece of letter, you could go to SAT. It's not like the course where it's very expensive to go to.
But ma'am, I was expecting to. Ma'am, thanks for this advice, but I was really expecting that you would tell some comforting thing to me.
Expecting that a WGM's order will be ordered by a GM in some manner on a phone call. What exactly is your point?
Ma'am, for example, if you could tell us how will SEBI play a role in returning back the capital?
My telling you, whatever it is, my telling you is not over and above a full-time member's order, right?
That's right.
Then, what's the point here?
So, ma'am, you have no comment on how can SEBI play a role in returning back?
I explained to you that entire existence of SEBI is for investor protection, but you're not liking it. Where is the question of commenting or not commenting? There is a preamble of SEBI Act. It's there in the SEBI Act.
Yes, ma'am.
Practically, every order of SEBI is for the express purpose of investor protection, and if someone does not like it, then the person can do that or take on the Supreme Court. And if a small investor does not like it, he will have to live with the fact that yes, SEBI is doing whatever it is doing in the interest of investors, and it is for investor protection.
Yes, ma'am, I agree with that. But in practice, the investors' money is stuck and they're losing hope.
Hope in what? Like the platform, the Growpital platform, or what exactly was that?
Yes, ma'am, because the business continuity has been jeopardized, so they cannot make money. If they cannot make money, how will we get back our money?
Basically, your investment in Growpital that you are unable to take back because SEBI thought Growpital is doing something illegal, right?
Yes. So, ma'am, in that case, whatever money is at least frozen, at least that can be distributed back to the investors.
Pass an order against Growpital.
Sorry, ma'am.
Are you saying that SEBI should not have passed an order against Growpital?
No, ma'am. No. I'm completely for SEBI investigating Growpital. All that I'm saying is, how will we get our money back now? Can SEBI help in that?
The entire matter, the whole point of SEBI passing an order and SEBI sort of stopping everything as it is in a status quo is for that additional misallocation of capital or additional this does not happen. That's exactly the whole point, right?
And I appreciate that, ma'am. And that is protecting the future investors. But what about the current investors? Can we get our money back, at least whatever is stuck?
That's what I'm saying. Please read the order. Please read the order.
Yes, ma'am. But what is your interpretation for it?
Why should I tell you it is my interpretation? A full-time member's order to be interpreted by a single manager who is not even involved in the case. What exactly I'm talking about?
Ma'am, all that I'm humbly saying is that the current investors' money is stuck and they're very worried. Yes, ma'am. So do you have any message for those investors?
What do you mean by you have any message? The message is in the order. Please read the order. And if you don't like that message, please go to that. I humbly request and I sincerely request you that if you are not okay with what is there in the Growpital order, please kindly challenge it. And it's all right. And maybe the remedy lies in that. The way you are feeling, maybe there are others also.
So, ma'am, are you saying that the current investors' only hope is?
I'm not saying anything, sir. An order has been passed, a member of SEBI. Who am I to say anything on that? I'm telling you, I'm giving you two messages. One message is, message number one, SEBI works in the interest of investors as written in the preamble. The existence of SEBI is for investor protection. That's my point. Second message I'm giving, for the specific matter of Growpital platform, if there is something which you do not like or which you find deficient in the order of SEBI, then with no or minimal cost, you can approach the Secretary to do it.
Right. Agreed, ma'am. And I was just hoping that you would tell me something. Okay.
I will stop over here.
Okay.
Because you seem to be repeating, despite my answers, you seem to be repeating your question because I'm sure you feel that you will not find your answer here. Therefore, you are repeating. So at least you should not force me to repeat the answer, which would be unfair of you and me. So I simply suggest that we stop this phone control and please do what you find.
Can I just ask you one last question, ma'am? Just one last question.
I suggest to avoid it.
I will not repeat it. Can I ask one more question, ma'am? Just one last question. Okay, ma'am. Thanks for talking to me. Just so that everybody's aware, you're Ms. Sangeeta Rathod, GM at SEBI. Thanks a lot, ma'am, for talking to us.
Recording, please go ahead, record, not an issue. I said I gave you two messages. First message, SEBI is purely and only for investor protection. Two, for the express purpose of this order of Growpital. If you have some issue against it, you find it deficient on some manner, and if you don't like it as an investor, I sincerely request you can go to that. It is almost at minimum or no cost.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for talking to me, and I appreciate it.